All right, welcome back to Epicus Gamicus Metallicus, year by year. This week we're doing 1975, and I believe is it my year? My
I think you're up first, yeah.
okay. So my first one is "Caress of Steel" by Rush. Definitely had a time but picking between "Fly by Night" and "Caress of Steel" here. It's a difficult choice. They're pretty close. But I think the song Bastille Day kind of sold it for me.
Oh, yeah.
That's one of the classics from these two Rush albums, which they're not quite as perfect as a lot of other Rush albums.
Doesn't really fit there.
They're still truly great albums, but it's like it's kind of like one band's best is another band's worst sort of thing.
Right.
Any
yeah.
other band, this would be an excellent album, like way better than anything else. But you compare it to 2112, and it's just sad.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, and this album kind of is the precursor to 2112. I mean, it's got side B is just the Fountain of Lamneth for 20 minutes. So, but that song just doesn't quite have the epic scale of 2112.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like I guess 2112 is almost like an opera. It's more interesting than an opera, but it's like you don't get bored listening to 2112.
It's easier to follow than Fountains of Lamneth.
Fountains of Lamneth is a little more slower, more closer to like a Yes album.
It's almost to the point where you'd rather have the lyrics in front of you when you listen.
Yeah. And then this album also has The Necromancer, which is 12 minutes long.
Yeah.
All about Lord of the Rings, which is a must for progressive rock, right?
Kind of a salute to Zeppelin there, too.
Yeah, Zeppelin used to reference Lord of the Rings a little bit. But yeah, definitely an interesting album. What's your number one?
I have Born to Run by Bruce Springsteen.
Oh, hell yeah. Gotta have some Springsteen in there.
Definitely. Got the title track, Born to Run.
Classic, pure.
Thunderland.
Mm-hmm.
Jungleland?
I'm
going to say Thunder Road there.
Oh.
Thunder Road, Jungleland. 10th Avenue Freeze Out.
Oh yeah, 10th Avenue Freeze Out's great. It's a great song.
Got Clarence Clemens on that saxophone there.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think Bruce Springsteen is one of the artists that really got me into saxophone solos.
Yeah.
Because this album has some of the best sax solos.
I mean, it's hard
anywhere.
to be into saxophone solos, but with him, it works out.
Listen to Born to Run and you'll immediately be a fan of saxophones, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this album is interesting for me because I used to prefer Born in the USA, but I think nowadays Born to Run is the classic Springsteen album. Just the title track.
Yeah.
Gets you.
That alone, yeah.
Yeah. And interestingly, this album kind of gives me a Detroit vibe. Like big muscle cars and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it really cements Springsteen as one of the great sort of northern... It's sort of like a northern version of southern rock, right? It's that working class, rootsy vibe. And I feel like Bruce Springsteen isn't quite as popular in Texas as he should be. Maybe he's just too much of a Yankee, you know?
Yeah, I can see that.
Bloody Northerners and all that. Yeah. But yeah, this is definitely a classic and probably of this year, probably the best album, I think.
I can see that. Yeah.
So my number two is A Night at the Opera by Queen, which obviously contains their classic Bohemian Rhapsody, which is hella overplayed. And
it's always fun to sing that.
Yeah, it's like I'll sing along to it, but I don't really want to hear it. You know, it's kind of like you're kind of torn between it. And but this album also has a lot of lesser known classics on it.
Yeah, definitely.
Like the song 39.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very forgotten song, but it's a great little folk song about... It's like a sci-fi folk song. It's about like the sort of the same principle as the movie Planet of the Apes. They go into space and they come back, and it's been like thousands of years.
Everything's getting a chance to like rebuild. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like they come back to the planet, and I think the line goes, "Land or grandchildren knew." Grandchildren they never met lived there and then died, and then they're back, and it's like, oh, it's just that whole weird sci-fi thing going on.
Yeah.
What else is on it? Oh, this album's also got Seaside Rendezvous, which has excellent use of a kazoo, which
don't get to hear that very often.
Yeah. I can't think of another song that uses a kazoo to such effect.
It's like using the spoons.
Yeah, like the most childish instrument ever, and somehow Queen managed to get something out of it. And this album's also got Lazing on a Sunday Afternoon. I'm in Love with My Car, which goes hand in hand with Highway Star.
Yeah.
It's the same vibe, just a love letter to your car.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as someone who's into cars, I can get down with that. My voice is going. I guess we're going to have to call this the last recording of the day. This album also has God Save the Queen at the end, the British national anthem, which is interesting. It's probably like the equivalent of the Hendrix version of Star Spangled Banner.
Yeah.
It's the most classic rock version of the national anthem.
I don't know. I mean, when I listened to it, I kind of saw it as more of like a closing to the album, you know? Like,
yeah, it's just sort of a grand.
Just hear it kind of.
Yeah, and it's only a minute long, so it's just sort of a finale.
I think it really fits on the end there.
Yeah. Where are we at? I think it's your number 3.
I think it's my number 2.
2? Oh, okay.
All right, this is one of the later Zeppelin albums. One of these ones Jack isn't that big of a fan of.
No, not really.
So, Physical Graffiti. It's a double album, so really got to be devoted if you want to listen to the whole thing.
Definitely.
But it's actually got some of their, I would say some of their bigger hits on it.
I will say that I am a big fan of Kashmir.
You gotta be. It's one of their mains, you know.
Yeah.
But
that's some stoner rock right there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, personally, I kind of like Down by the Seaside, Houses of the Holy, 10 Years Gone.
Yeah, Houses of the Holy, which is on the wrong album.
Yeah, that's an interesting.
They released an album called Houses of the Holy, and 2 years later they released a song. 2 years later the title track comes out. That makes sense.
But you just got like a lot more variation on Physical Graffiti than on earlier albums.
It's a lot like the Beatles' White Album.
Yeah.
Kind of more experimental version of Zeppelin. Because I guess more space to fill, more time to experiment, right?
Yeah.
Definitely some interesting songs in here, like a song like In the Light.
Yeah.
It's just like, what is this?
Exactly.
And I will say I kind of enjoy listening to this album, but it is kind of long.
You've really got to be in the mood for it.
And when you're doing something like this and you have to listen to it, and you have a set number of... And I think I kind of felt like it was down to the wire when we were listening to this stuff, because we were going to be recording it like a week later, and I had like 30 albums to listen to or something. So it's like almost burning myself out listening to music, but yeah, definitely an interesting album. What are we at, number 3?
I think we are.
My number 3 is Sabotage by Black Sabbath, which has to be in here mainly because of the song Symptom of the Universe, which is almost an early thrash track. It's definitely the fastest Sabbath song, and it kind of definitely a great sequel to Children of the Grave from Master of Reality, and Paranoid from Paranoid. It's like just Tony Iommi kept having to come up with these super fast riffs to get everybody excited, I guess.
Yeah.
And then this album also has the date. What's the first song on the album called? The
Is it Hole in the Sky?
Yeah. No, but what's the first song on an album is called the opening track? That's right. That's what I was looking for.
Right.
Yeah, the opening track, Hole in the Sky, is also a great song. And
it's actually one of my favorite Sabbath songs.
Yeah. And this album also has some interesting songs later on, like "Am I Going Insane?"
Yeah,
which is a kind of an interesting vocal performance from Ozzy.
Really is.
Yeah. Is that my last one? So your last one now?
All right. Switching gears pretty far here. We've got Casey and the Sunshine Band with Casey and the Sunshine Band.
Yeah, that's a jump.
Got some hardcore disco here.
Yeah. This is like disco before it wasn't cool, you know?
Yeah.
This is when disco was actually good.
You got Get Down Tonight. That's the Way I Like It, and Boogie Shoes.
Yeah. I don't know. That's the Way I Like It. Might have been going a bit far.
Yeah, that's pretty far over.
That's one of the cringe disco tracks.
Definitely.
You still kind of dance along to it, but you know you shouldn't, right?
It's one of the reasons disco sucks. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, disco, it just sort of, it went too far, I think.
Yeah.
It's sort of like it took funk and then kind of ruined it.
It's kind of pushed it past the point there.
Yeah. This is an album which is more pure funk, though.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think albums like this kind of are important to development of metal later in the 80s and stuff like Faith No More and the Chili Peppers.
Yeah.
I guess the Chili Peppers aren't really metal, but that period of funk metal, which...
It's that strong bass sound.
Yeah. Though that period didn't last very long because there's only like 3 bands, 2 I mentioned earlier, and Living Colour that really work. And the rest... And then nobody really followed it up. Like, the new metal bands were a little bit more hip-hop.
Right. Yeah.
Hip-hop, groove metal sort of style.
Of course, I mean, hip-hop did kind of grow out of disco and sampling, but...
Yeah.
It's kind of a stretch to say that.
It's interesting. Anyway, was that the last one?
I think it was.
All right, who's getting left out this week? I'm going to have to leave out Sabotage, I think.
Ooh. I would leave out Physical Graffiti, but I'm a bit too big of a Zeppelin fan for that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to go with Casey and the Sunshine Band.
Yeah, and I think we're going to have to say that one gets left out because
it's
about as far as metal as this show can go, right? Well,
I have to agree with that.
It's over the line. There's only so many weird albums we could put on here.
Yeah.
So, yep. Casey's out. Sabotage gets to stay in. And that's been 75. Goodbye.